this is Lisa Hazard and Misty Lure with the podcast We Are All Psychic. And today, guess who's back? We are starting a series with Miss Jennifer Love, and she is back to talk more about love today. Jennifer, do you still think we're all psychic?
Yes, I absolutely do. Of course we are.
Of course we are.
I love that answer. Yes, I do.
She's here to talk to us for the first time on her love series and, the spiritual aspects. About self-love, of course. That's what she talked about in her podcast, their first podcast, talking about love a few weeks ago or a month ago. It was a month ago. We're doing it on the 30th again. We're thinking the 30th might be the day we'll do it. So she wants, we talked about it. We're going to talk about loving yourself. I love myself. That's so hard to say. I can't do it. I can't mean it. It's hard, but I do appreciate myself, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to say I love myself because it feels weird, like you were saying before the podcast.
Of course. Yeah. And it's not a destination. It's not, okay, now I love myself, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's always a journey. It's always a journey. So you should never feel like, oh, I'm not good at this and I can't do it, because it's always a daily practice.
Well, it's like liking yourself too. We just talked about that a minute ago. You have to like yourself before you love yourself too. Yeah. It goes hand in hand, and a lot of people don't like themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it makes me think of like appreciating time with yourself too, alone, or appreciating yourself in other people's company and enjoying yourself in other people's company. If we like ourselves, like you said, Misty, if we like ourselves, we can usually interact with people with less self-consciousness and actually enjoy ourselves. If some of us are more self-conscious. I used to be very self-conscious.
Right.
And it wasn't so much I'm thinking they're judging me. It was like I can't see how they would like me.
So there's two extremes, right? There's people who have extreme social anxiety who really like to be alone because they just can't imagine that anybody likes me, and I don't want to interact with anybody, and they just want to be alone all the time. And then there's people who don't want to be alone at all because they can't stand to not be around other people because they don't like themselves that much. That they want to be around someone else all the time because they kind of don't feel like they have an identity, or they don't like themselves, their own self-identity. So they only feel like they're someone when they're in the presence of someone else. So it's kind of like these two extremes. You don't want to be on either end. You want to feel comfortable being alone and like your own company, but you also don't want to get too comfortable being alone by yourself all the time where you don't want to interact with anybody ever.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that space right now during the holidays because it's been a rough time, but it's also there's no one to see, so it's like
sure
closed up. But overall, it's okay, get out of it.
And we want to feel comfortable being alone. You're your own best friend. You're always going to be with you. And so you have to be comfortable being by yourself and be happy by yourself and be able to entertain yourself and be alone.
Yeah.
And that's great. I love that, Lisa, that you're happy alone, and you should be able to be happy alone by yourself.
I told her I was jealous.
I'm afraid I'm going to slip into that I just want to stay here phase, though. I don't want to be that way. I love people. I love talking to people.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you and Misty do this podcast because you get to interact with each other.
Yes, absolutely.
Other people too.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah, and your guests, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
The best part.
We're
not
so
Misty.
Excited.
Misty's just, she's just Misty. She's just Misty.
I'm just here,
I'm just
all the time.
No, I have to catch her. She's hard to catch. But when you catch her and pin her down, she's there.
Lie, tell that lie.
Oh yeah, tell a lie. I always lie. I'm all about lie. So, what would you be like? Where did you start realizing this was a big step for you toward finding a romantic love? How old were you? Like, what was the realization for you like?
Yeah, I feel like I started my spiritual journey when I got divorced. I think I talked about that a little bit last time, and it was really paired a lot with weight loss and body image, because the reason I kind of got divorced, or I wanted to get divorced, I feel, was because I started losing weight, and I could no longer use food as a coping mechanism to battle stress.
Yeah.
I used food as a way to cope with my own emotions. I was emotionally eating. So it was my addiction. It was my way of soothing my own emotions to not feel.
Wow.
And so the moment I could not use that anymore as a soothing balm for my soul, that was taken away as I was doing weight loss. My emotions all rose to the surface. And that was really difficult for my marriage. My marriage failed because I was just, all the emotions were there right at the surface, and my marriage couldn't handle it anymore. So that was kind of like the relationship kind of catalyst to, get divorced. So feeling my emotions for the first time in my life pretty much was really difficult, and I was in therapy. I was trying to work out my stuff with my therapist and whatever. But what really helped me was my dance class, which was, it's not a traditional dance class. It's a pole dancing class.
Yes.
I always wanted to do that.
Yeah. Is that empowering? You get so strong. I would love to take your pole dancing class if you still do it.
Yeah.
That's great.
I want too. Yeah.
And it's funny because Sheila Kelly's S Factor doesn't call it a pole dancing class. She calls it a feminine movement practice.
Okay.
And
I love it.
For this reason, because it's not about erotic dancing. It's not about
for the man. It's not for anyone to watch.
It's about the woman and her exploration of her own emotions and her sexuality for herself. So, and that's what we do there. That's what we do at the studio is we explore our own emotions.
That's amazing.
I want that in my life.
I want that in my life too. That's a great idea.
Yes.
So, I've been doing this feminine movement practice for 7 years now. And I loved it so much that I went through teacher training and became a teacher. So I teach it now. And so it's very much a part of my
that's really fun.
Yeah, it's very much a part of my journey, and it's very much a part of my teaching and coaching. And, I can't separate that whole emotional piece from the self-love, because to me, it's so much a part of my own transformation. And I don't think you can love yourself without experiencing all of your emotions.
I agree.
I agree too.
I have a question, and this just popped in my head. Okay, so compare your first relationship to where you are right now. Okay, do you think you really knew what love was when you had your first relationship, or do you think you really know it at this point right now in life?
Do you mean first relationship like when I was in high school, or my marriage?
Marriage.
Oh, no, because obviously no. Because I feel like I was in a very immature space of being, I was a very controlling person with my ex-husband. I was trying to, I used him like a project. I felt like, oh, I could change him. I think I could work with this.
Yeah, we all do that.
Yeah, I felt like he was some kind of clay that I could mold and shape to my vision of what I think a man should be. And that's not fair. That's not how you go into a relationship.
Yeah.
No, and that's not fair to him. It wasn't fair to me. And it's very unrealistic. But I was 25. I mean, I give myself the grace to know
that's how you found out.
Right. And I give myself the grace to know that was immature. But that's actually what I thought at the time, was that, I like these things about him, but I don't like these things about him, and I'm going to change those things. But you should never go into a relationship thinking you're going to change things about someone.
No, that's definitely a no-no. So you feel like now, like if you are, I don't know if you're in a relationship now or not, but if you were in a relationship now, do you think it's going to be stronger now that you've gone through all this and you really realize what love is and what's it all about?
Yeah, I am in a relationship now, and I'm very happy. And I think I know exactly what I want and what he gives me. And it's real. Like we're very much like
feeling it, right? You're feeling it all through everything.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
We meet each other where we are, and we accept all the parts of each other, even the not so great parts. And when I make a mistake, I own up to it and he forgives me. And, I just think that's so beautiful to be able to be 100% of who you are all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Real.
What it's all about right there.
Yeah. I don't have to hide parts of myself from him.
Yes.
And not be my authentic self. That's what I like the most, is that I can be 100% of my authentic self and he accepts me for who I am.
That's cool. What it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can understand that completely. And I'm sure that Lisa can too. And I keep telling Lisa, you know what, you're going to find that perfect guy for you, for both of you.
I'm open-minded. I'm not limiting myself to men.
No, it takes time. It takes time. But she will find that one person, and she will pick out the things that she likes and dislikes about people, and she will find that person. Because I think that's really what dating is all about.
I'm still at the first steps, and what Jennifer you said in the beginning was about self-love. Is it's a daily process, and like with the relationship, we talked about this, I think too. You grow apart, you grow together, and with yourself, loving yourself, you change. So you have to love yourself as you change. And like I think, I love that I changed this, and maybe I'll think, well, I changed this. How do I feel about it? I changed this other part. Like when I was like now that I'm 46, I'm looking back at younger me who made a lot in the way, because that's before when I had other relationships. That's really all I have to reflect back on, because I was always in serious relationships, went from marriage to marriage, right? Boom, boom.
Right. Me too.
And got married at 26. So, and I never messed around. I'm monogamous. So, like I was looking back at my high priestess self, and what she wanted and what she's all about. My cards kept telling me, look at her, what she want, what was she about? And it was, accepting my changes. How fast we change at 18 to 25. It's changing so much and then every day. 40.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but especially then it's like fast forward changing. And
I
remember saying, like, between the ages of 20 and 25 and then 25 to 30, there's a big difference in the social groups at that age. We can't really connect with each other. We would say to each other, like, when we got into that over 35 group, our friends would be all like, yeah, we can't relate to those, 20 to 25-year-olds.
And we don't want to either. We don't want to.
Well, no, I actually married one. That one was
First
okay
mistake.
at the time. It wasn't a mistake at the time. It was a growing apart thing, At the time it worked out. But looking back, that probably wasn't brilliant. I just spent a lot of time. I spent 3 years before I married him,
Yeah.
So
that's why it's so impressive with those couples that you see that've been married for 30, 40, and 50 years.
I know.
They've somehow managed to grow as people, but also grow within their relationship. And so how have these people managed to do that? How these people managed to not only grow as individuals, but also grow within their relationship. And, they've interviewed people, right? Like they go, how have you managed to do this? This is a miracle, right? Because most people grow apart, right? They don't grow together. And, the keys to those kinds of long-term relationships are, major communication.
Yes.
And another thing, my brother and his wife have that kind of relationship. They got married at 21 and 22. They're still married at 50. And, my parents in their 70s, they're married. They got married 21, still married. And it's communication. And another thing, respecting each other's boundaries.
I was just going to say respect and desire.
And desire.
Big.
Desire. Yeah. Respecting boundaries is a huge thing.
Boundaries. Yeah. Absolutely.
Understanding that this person is their individual self. I am not an extension of them and they are not an extension of me. We are partners. That's a big thing to really have, and should treasure it if you have it. If you have no codependency in your relationship, that's amazing.
I finally got there too. I think I'm there now. And I love it. And my husband knows that I need my space.
Yeah, he does.
Those couples that has to be with each other 24/7.
Everybody needs their own space. Yeah.
Yes. Like, and I go off and I go on vacation with my girlfriends, and I do other things, and he's okay with that, and that makes it work. Because if he didn't let me do those things, then I wouldn't be happy. There wouldn't be a good marriage.
Esther Perel wrote this wonderful book called Mating in Captivity. And she says the key to desire is to have that space from your partner. When you're in a marriage, if you're not a unique, interesting individual, if you know absolutely everything there is to know about your spouse, that's boring. There's no desire there.
Right.
That's why people have affairs, is because they're looking for that curiosity, that interest, So when you go off, Misty, and have your own adventure by yourself, then you come back to your marriage and you're a more interesting, exciting person again. That's what keeps your marriage interesting and vital and healthy.
Yeah.
That is so important to do, to
be
an individual. You always have to keep your life interesting. You can't just be a couple. That's not healthy.
Right. And I mean, we've been married for 16 years. We've been together 17, 18, which sounds crazy saying it, but I think that we both respect each other and our boundaries, and really that's what makes it work. And also, I was going to say, don't you think that a lot of people these days split up because they just give up? They don't want to try to work on their relationship, as well. And we've tried to work on things, when we have problems, we try to talk it out with communication, and it really is key.
Yeah, we have a disposable culture that's very, in I don't know if you've been married too long, Misty, to deal with dating apps, but
no, never had to do that.
Yeah. So, but it's a very disposable culture with the swiping. Tinder is set up, and a lot of the dating apps are the same, where you just kind of mindlessly swipe left. You don't like this picture. I don't like this picture. I don't like this. And it's just
gosh,
this
weird.
endless supply of people. It's kind of a mindset that there's an endless supply of people available to you. And so if you go on this date, you don't like someone, oh, well, there's 20, 30 people,
weird.
available to me. Yeah. So you don't give people a chance. If someone says something you don't like, oh, well, there's 5 other people in my queue that I can go out with this week. It doesn't matter.
Right. And that's not going to get you anywhere.
No, it's not. So there's no investment. There's no getting to know people. It's just, there's this very disposable kind of treating people like Kleenex.
Love like that. Love or someone's feelings. If there some people that they're on those dating apps, they're not just there to see if there's something. They really want to meet someone. They want to meet someone they have a spark with and chemistry, and love. They're looking for
there's
love.
There's all these, there's ghosting, and so we can get all into that.
Oh yeah, we'll save that.
But
we have lots of time.
But definitely veering off into.
That's really interesting though, because I don't have any experience with that either. But since I've become separated, I have had a lot of social media people writing me strangely and asking. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird, very blunt, to the point about hey, are you married? Right away. I don't know them. And I'm like, why are you asking me that? And I'd like to take you out. And I'm like, I don't know you. And I don't want to date. And he's like, there's multiple people, and they don't say no for an answer. They try to make it like I'm being mean by just not answering. Because they're not taking no for this is weird. You don't know me. I don't say that, but I'm like, I don't want to date. And they don't leave it. They don't let it go.
No, I know.
But they try to make me sweet to me afterwards, and I don't understand this culture at all. What's going on? Explain it. We'll do that for a podcast too. We'll talk about social media and love.
I think
we'll have to talk about social media at some point. Yeah, I get hit on a lot on my Instagram.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
I've learned a lot about that from my female clients too. That's actually a way that men pick up women now, is through social media,
and that's scary. We had to go out in
And
my
that's not
day.
scary to me. I don't think it's bad, but to
you know?
just say, hey, can we date? I don't know you. You didn't ask me, like, hey, can we talk? I think you're interesting, because it's like when you pitch a publisher, you know the publisher's books, you know what they like, and you know something about them. You don't just go and pitch a publisher, like a million publishers or agents. You have to know something about them and
Well,
why they would like you.
the difference is, Lisa, they feel like they know you because they've been watching you for months, one-sided. You don't know them, but they feel like they know you from this whatever image you've cultivated on your page. It's a business, though. It's a business page, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
put the
whatever
personal stuff on it, but it's a business page mainly.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've been, cultivating your business, so they feel like they know you somehow, and
Okay.
that's who they want to date. But that's not the intention. And so that same with me. It's my business I'm cultivating on my Instagram. They want to date Jennifer Love, but that's not
Well,
me
it's just like, but why
personally.
don't they try to like at least something other than just straight to the point when I don't even know them? I mean, like, I've watched you, or I'm interested in your readings, or I think that it's just like, hey, are you single? It's like, not, I'm so and so. I'd like to get to know you better.
That's just how it is.
They're hiding behind the computer. That's why.
I don't know. I used to play a lot of online video games, and there was a lot of dating then. People would fall in love and stuff like that. It was all through writing, and that was, it makes sense to me to fall in love romantically online, because you get to know someone without immediately in their face and the sexual tension and the physical weird, and the discomfort with your appearance, if there is any, or anything like that. It's just like, this is me, and I'm talking, to you as a person I have no idea, but I'm getting to know you over a common interest, usually, not just, I don't know. There was no common interest. It's just like, hey, that's totally off topic, but it's very interesting.
No, it's, some men have no game. It doesn't matter where you meet them.
Game. I guess maybe that's what I'm missing. Yeah, I guess my game is like 1997 style. I don't know. Grow some hair, long hair, play guitar, but don't be homeless. Don't be homeless, please.
Yeah, I crack up by the sugar daddies that are like, I want to be your sugar daddy.
Oh, like, wow. Yeah.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, have you read my page at all? Do you think that's something that I would be interested in? Like, you obviously don't know me.
Yeah. Wow.
It's hilarious too.
That's so strange. I just don't know why people think that is something that maybe they do it for fun. Who knows? Maybe it's just fun. I'll have to find out. We'll dig into that. I'll make a poll on this, because all those guys are listening to this podcast right now. Oh, they listen this far in, I'd be like, I might talk to them.
It depends. She's had a glass of wine or so.
Yeah, what time of morning or night it is, what's going on, I don't know. But it feels good to talk with you guys about this kind of stuff so openly. When I was younger, I didn't have the kind of self-appreciation and comfort with my opinions, with my attitude, with, I guess, the self-love, to feel like my opinions and what I have had happen to me would be interesting to anybody. For me, a process of it was just like looking at why I felt that way and seeing other people didn't seem to feel that way, all like as severely as I did, or as crippling, in a crippling way. To me, it would seem crippling because I wanted something else than what I had. I wanted to be confident. I wanted to have the kind of, like, speaking of love in my life for myself, around me with friends and with family and with a lover. I wanted all that and I couldn't find it. But I knew that's where I had to start. And it's still working, like you said, but it took a long time till I was like really comfortable.
Yeah.
And eliminated problems like for years and years and years out of my head, out of my heart, and filled it back up with what I could of appreciation and gratitude, And it's a long process.
Yeah.
It is. But you're doing so well at it.
Yeah. I think so Louise Hay is obviously the pioneer, or the best, author to read about self-love. And she has this exercise in practice of mirror work. So, the best way to go about really getting, I guess, naked with, your self-love is to stand in front of a mirror, sit in front of a mirror, and look at yourself and say, I love you. I really love you.
Yes.
And it's a very difficult practice to do. It sounds extremely simple.
Sounds hard.
It's very, very hard. It's very difficult. I remember the first time I tried doing it and I was just so uncomfortable. I just couldn't even sit there because I just sat cross-legged in front of the mirror and I was just trying to do it. And I was just so I was just looking all around. I just could not look into my own eyes. So I was just looking all around the room and then I was trying to look into my own eyes and say it. And then of course it just felt false.
Yeah.
Right? It just didn't feel true.
That's like at the beginning of the podcast when I was saying I love myself. It doesn't feel right.
Right.
It doesn't.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, when I really started to just say it to myself over and over, I started crying.
Oh.
Because it felt, it just feels like it's not true. So then it feels like you're lying to yourself and then it just feels painful. Yeah. So, it's a really long process of doing these. So you just have to keep doing it. It seems ridiculous and you don't want to do it, because it's a really hard thing to do. But honestly, it really does work. So I encourage people who are listening to this who don't feel like you love yourself or you really want to try to love yourself, try to do some mirror work. Even if it's just you're walking by a mirror, look at yourself really quickly and say, I love you, Jennifer, your name. And if you don't feel it and that's too difficult, you can say, I'm really trying to love you.
Oh, that's really good. I like that a lot.
That is very good. And it doesn't seem off to me at all, Jennifer.
Yeah, that seems really amazing. That seems like one of the best exercises. I think that's really great. Jennifer, I think that's a great note to end on right there because I think that's just the most perfect way to put it, perfect.
Yeah.
That's the homework, Misty.
Yeah. It's a tough assignment, but it's really life-changing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. And I'm so glad we're going to be doing this more often. Yes. And I'd like to thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app where you can get your advice from psychics and empaths. So you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. Everclear.com. Jennifer and I are both on there, and she has her own stuff. I will paste it in the description of the podcast. And you're on what's the name the main website that people look you up on?
JenniferLove.me.
.me. Okay. Yeah. Good deal. All right. And thank you, Misty. Thank you, listeners, for listening. Lisa? And of course, thank you, Jennifer Love.
Thank you, Jennifer.
We'll be back next time. Until next time, peace out. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.